Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your valuable time with the Adapt 2030 channel. I'm trying to bring you an equation here. 5 Arab states plus Iran, among other 19 nations ready to join BRICS, makes the news airwaves. And suddenly, a tidal wave of bank crashes. I'm just wondering if that wealth has flowed, and this is the result. Because winding back a few months, 3 banks that failed this year, bigger than the 25 that fell in 2008. What about the news releases of that time? Dollar chart, 4th bear market, 50 years now inbound. Because just this region of the BRICS contains half the world's population. Bangladesh already moving over to pay for a nuclear power plant with Chinese currency. Argentina dropping the dollar rate along with Brazil, and China slashing exports to the United States. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with cycles in the sun. The big wave is coming. Wait until the spray hits our nations and our economies. The shift is all-encompassing. Broadcast yet again. So where is the correlation of news of BRICS and those applying for and the runs on the banks? Because to get the full wide picture, we just need to step back a couple of months into Silvergate and Silicon Valley Bank, the number of bank failures by year, total asset in millions, 2008, great financial crisis, and 9 subprime mortgages, and then today. And if we do look at First Republic, Signature Bank, Silicon Valley, it actually eclipses $550 billion totals. Those 3 banks were worth more than all the banks that failed in 2008. Now, where is that money going? And if we look back from 2008 until present, we see WAMU, which was 2008 crash, but 2nd, 3rd, 4th, everybody getting a participation trophy, all failing. This dovetails onto the previous chart, but it breaks it down by the billion of dollar amounts. And what's happening now with the regional banks is just sending us on to more contagion, more people fearful, more people pulling money from the banks. This is a feedback loop at this point. And I found this bank failures in brief. This comes from the FDIC in the US. And the red line is the actual number of banks that were failing, and the green line is the amount of dollars, billions of dollars involved with these failures. 3 banks, again, that green total, have eclipsed anything of the $373 billion involved in assets that were actually registered by the Fed and taken over by the Fed during the 2008-9 financial crisis. Institutions actually peaked out at 157 small and regional-sized banks, in addition to Washington Mutual, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and that list went way on. So far, way over on the right side of the chart here, 2023, they're only registering 3 bank failures, but that green line is a Loch Ness monster yet again, rearing its head. Looking at the banks that cratered yesterday, people are pulling their money out and moving it. What is triggering this in tandem? Oh wait, one more nation's agreed to join the BRICS. And that's in addition to the new nations above and beyond the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is the bedrock in the core countries of this new settlement medium. Originally, Shanghai Cooperation Organization was something like NATO. It was originally a military pact between these nations, but now it's definitely turned into something different. Now that it's warm enough for hiking and biking, I really want to feel good. I take C60 EVO olive oil in the morning and have amazing results all day long. It improves my mental focus and clarity so I can complete projects, and I sleep better at night. I definitely have more energy and endurance, and my skin improving. C60 EVO works. They sell 3 potent edible oils that are delicious: olive oil, avocado oil, and MCT coconut. They also make exceptional anti-aging face and lip serums for both men and women. Everything's made in their U.S. labs, and they do ship all around the world. Treat yourself, your pets, and those you love to healthy products that really improve your life. Save 15% off bundled product sets. That's 15% off each bottle. Also, monthly subscriptions, save 20%. Use the code ADAPT2030 at checkout. That's c60evo.com/adapt2030. So good, I had to put it in front of the moose. And now on with the video. And the reason I said is there a correlation between this, because the last round of bank failures, disguised as removal of on-road off-ramps of crypto for Silvergate, for example, or SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, all occurred right at the same time that these news headlines were rolling around. China, Brazil, they're going to ditch the dollar. Key Asian bloc, ASEAN jumping over and ditching the dollar, including Malaysia and Indonesia, going right over to the BRICS. 40 African nations visit Moscow. And Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, Algeria, Argentina, Mexico, Nigeria said they wanted to join, but now they've put in formal applications. And then when China completes the first UN-settled deal for LNG with France, and the same thing happens, our banks cratered. So what is it? This is a massive movement of wealth from one area to the next. PacWest, Lending Tree, they will recover as more money is printed and injected. Western Alliance, Credit One, First Republic, overtaken now by JP Morgan. We're only going to have one bank at the end of this. Metropolitan Bank, LPLA, KeyCorp. And if you like to look at it in the charts, this one also includes bank ETFs and regional banking indices. Top layer there, we've already seen Western Alliance, PacWest. So I'd ask you to try to put these news stories together with the bank runs. You know, it seems to be this teeter-totter, if you will. There was some balance, but immediately as more countries begin to put formal applications in, money's moving. Say, I'm looking at the future. Crystal ball here. More money's going over there, more possibility for return on investment in these new nations, and it seems like it's pulled from here and directly deposited over there. And it seems that you could name this inverse of the teeter-totter, the crystal ball chronicles. Whenever there's a new announcement of nations that are putting in formal application to join the BRICS, not just saying we would like to, we're touching our toe in the water, we want to see what your resource-backed currency block is all about. Once they're formally putting in applications, making moves to move away from dollar-settled trade, that money is moving out of the Western Bloc countries, including the United States, over into this new trading bloc where there will be more opportunity for return on investment without hyperinflation, because now the United States is going to need to print how many more billions to make up for the losses again. And I would encourage you to look at the news releases of that time, each time there's a run on the banks or a bank is failing in the United States. There is a wealth movement, and they're directly correlated and tied within a week of each other. This is not going away, it's just going to intensify. Now that others in the bloc are learning, they can use these news releases as weaponized news release to trigger bank failures in America. This is where it's gone to. That's why I call it the Crystal Ball Chronicles, because you can look into the future to see it's going to happen chapter after chapter after chapter, and we will need to print after print after print, and this leads to hyperinflation. And this is what I'm referencing here. Whenever these announcements come, there are massive withdrawals from depositors. Now, you could blame that and say, oh, the American people are spooked. They just want to pull their money out. It just doesn't happen like that, really. Even in 2008 and 9, people weren't pulling the money out to put it in bigger banks. It was more about the housing crisis, Contagion. This is the first time we've seen it. They're just making up excuses here. So let's break down the dozen of regional bank stocks plunging. Again, you know, written form is a little bit different than the charts that I showed you. These two lists are a little bit different in the banks that you'll see here: PacWest, Western Alliance, Metropolitan, Home Street, Zion's Bank, KeyCorp, Harbor One, Citizens Financial, down, down, down. That's massive, massive losses. Anytime you're losing 30% in a single session. And then the regional banking indices, which is the basket of all of them, down 4%. You know, there's going to be some taking over from the FDIC and try to instill confidence once again. But this U.S. dollar fourth bear market is definitely in play here. You can see how far it is going to go down comparatively to where we sit now at the index mark of 100. U.S. dollar should continue to drop further. A lot of countries are really making deals to go away from the dollar. But at the same time, we're getting this bank merger. This is one of the cards out of the deck. Again, I was saying, what is that behemoth behind it? What is that? That is BRICS, the megalodon. And right on cue, the 5 Arab states plus other 19 nations. And the thing that was most interesting for me was the G7 is expected to make up 27.8% of the global economy in 2028, which is really just like 4.5 years from now. And the BRICS is actually going to eclipse that greatly, 35%. So the movement's already in play. And we look at the total amount of population just here with Indonesia, Southeast Asia, China, this sort of area, India, and it's over half the world's population. And they're on their own trading block, trading resources and gold-backed currencies. And you'll see why the U.S. is being on the tapering end of Chinese exports. And then these nails, if you will, in the coffin of the dollar. Bangladesh now going to pay off a Russian nuclear plant loan in Chinese currency. Before that was the realm of the dollar only. And we see Argentina dropping the dollar with trading moving over to Chinese settlement in yuan, just like Brazil did. So now we got Argentina and Brazil, the two largest grain producers in South America, settling in yuan. Wow, that is huge, huge, huge if you realize how much food production those two nations alone. And then we got Indonesia. They want to get rid of MasterCard. They were toying with the idea a couple months ago, but now they're earnestly telling their citizens, stop using those. Use our own independent local payment systems as we switch over to the BRICS currency. We want nothing to do with West or dollar again. And since we're speaking of Arab nations, if hardship approaches you, then you say, you are what I will use to blossom. Because there is opportunity everywhere you look if you change your mind frame. And also the sunspots. April, as you can see, they're moving closer to the equator. And once that does, flip. The new solar cycle shall begin again. Now, how long will this one be, or how high will the sunspot numbers get before we decline into the abyss of low solar activity for 2 solar cycles, which would change society anyway? This is all on cue with the sun. We used to worship the sun. Do you wonder why? And with the changes, I'm super excited. Eden Grow Systems sending me my double-deck tower. It's in transit. Now, what am I going to put in here? Target species. It's definitely going to have to be something on the valuable end, superfood, micronutrient rich, and also very sellable that everybody else in the market doesn't have. But I'm looking forward to. Speaking of spring planting, trueleafmarket.com, heirloom and organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. Links for all of tonight's stories, images, text, graphics are in the description box below the video, along with True Leaf Market, so you can get your garden on. I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.